What's up, guys? I have to make this video quick because I already started making this video. Then somebody called me, and because I'm on my phone recording, it cancels my damn screen recordings midway through. I don't have an editing program on my phone right now to basically do it. So what I was talking about in the video that I just made was that yesterday I was working on shorts on Nvda. What I did was we rallied up yesterday up to, looks like 241. Now, I jumped the gun a little bit because I was on the way to a job site and I was driving, and it's just something I probably shouldn't have done, obviously, but in a sense it did play out properly. But I was looking for a pump back up. Where the hell were we? Oh, it must have been over here. We pumped up here. I believe it was here. And I think, nah. Shit, man. Sorry, I'm not. Let me zoom out on an hourly. It's hard to look at it on a 1 minute. Let's see. Yesterday was Tuesday. So we had this pump up. So what I did was I actually started shorting here between, at this 239.44 area. At one point, we did come back down to about 233-ish, and then we rallied back up, needless to say. So I got a pretty dang good short on it, and then I think it must have been here. No, that's Monday. Well, either way, it was somewhere in these candles where I got a nice short in. I was in my option put, and I put a stop loss above at $50 loss. And because we came down to like 233s or so, which was probably in this candle, I probably shorted this candle, 238.50, and then down to 233. And then we continued up to 241. And I got stopped out up in here, and then we rolled down. So my levels, unfortunately, didn't pay out for me. I wasn't able to watch it to be like, you know what, it's okay, I'll just add another put here because I don't think we're going to go higher, blah, blah, blah. Didn't work out for me. So sometimes when you're not able to pay attention, it's not the best time to put in trades. That's just something I learned. $50 hit, I'm not too worried about it. I would have been a lot more in profit, though, here. So today I'm going to be looking for another short entry, potentially, depending on how the market plays out. So there's two things that we could do. So the first time when we came up here, we actually came all the way to the 239.44 where we closed the body at. And then we came back down here. So it's possible that if we have some legs today, we could come back up to this 238.12-ish area. That would be an area for me that I would like to start looking for shorts again. It's right between 238.12 and some of these high wicks of 45s. If we do come back up and reject the 239s, that's another level, but we're going to have to watch a couple levels to the upside. If we get a nice pump, looking for 235.32, that's the first thing. Right off the bat, look for a pump potentially to this level. If we stay here and we just end up failing and rolling over, then most likely we're going to be coming back to continue down in our trend. I have some levels off of some EMAs down on the 4-hourly where actually lines up with my support of 231.34. Ultimately, I think we're heading to that point. Last time here, we hit the 21 EMA on the 4-hour, and it sparked a rally. So it's possible that this could spark a rally again. If we start to break it, though, then we're going to be looking most likely for, assuming we break it and we can start closing below and holding below as resistance below this 231.34, then we might be sending us down into the 221s or the previous low. So those will be the levels to watch for the downside, and then the upside is the 238.12 and the 235.32. Above 238.12, you could get back into the 241s if we get really bullish, but that'll be the main things that I'll be watching. So if you're trying to find a short, we're going to want to look at the 238.12 and the 235.32, and then flip down to the 1 minute and keep an eye on it and see how it's going to play out. If it gets a pump right up here, first thing, but starts closing bodies below, can't seem to get above, and it starts breaking that low, then you could potentially be looking for a nice short entry. So that'll be my idea for the day. If this thing somehow does get bullish, then maybe it gives us another chance, but right now the markets are pretty weak. And then Tesla is down at the low end of the range here once again. So my key area is this 188.85. It's the same area we had consolidation here. Couldn't close candle bodies below, and then we rallied back up. And the same thing has been happening for a little while now. You can see there's a lot of consolidation at the same range where we bounced right off of 188.85. Same here. Closed. We went below to the 87s, and then we pretty much just rallied back up. And then the second level for me is the 190 area. That's another potential resistance. If we pop up above the 190, 150, then most likely we come back up to the 193.27. That's not too bad of a level. That was basically our level that we longed for from a while. If this thing decides that it's going to make like a double bottom and just absolutely just rally, then obviously we're going to have to look back up at that 195.45 where we started our short on my last video right here, and we dropped all the way down to where we are now. So this is going to be a big day for Tesla because it has not really breached some of these lows here. If you look at the 4-hour, you can see the EMAs are crossing. They're looking pretty bad, but there are some EMAs up at the 197 area. So if we do decide to get a pump up to those EMAs and reject, 197 is a big level. I don't know how bullish today is going to be. I don't know if we've sold off enough, if things are going to have to start popping back up. That's hard to say right now. But we also have the 1-hour 200 EMA sitting right at that 193.27 with a 21 EMA on the hourly at 194.50. So between 194.50 and the 193.27, those could be some areas. But I feel like if we're going to come up to 194.50, that would be the first short idea, depending on how we react. The second, 195.44. So those are the three things to the upside. And then the downside, once you start breaking and closing below this 185.85 and actually using it as resistance, which is possible that we could do that today if things are really going to get bad, because we're already down at 85s. So if you get a pump up on 85s, you come up here, maybe retest the 190s and reject, that could be the entry to potentially pull it down and start our trend downwards towards 177, I think is my area. If we look at the fibs, I did draw some fibs. The 0.382 is at 173.30. So, and then I think I had potentially some price action over here. There's a 185 off of that candle body. This one couldn't close below. This is roughly 168, 169. We had two candle bodies that closed here, 172.27. That's pretty confusing. So I'm just going to call it 173.30 area as a low, and then the daily 100 is actually sitting at 178. So I guess the first take profit most likely would have to be that 100, 178. But if we do break and close below that, we could look for that 173 and then as low as 162. But I don't think we're going to go right there today anyway. But I am going to be looking for some pops in this market to short. I don't know exactly how high we're going to go, like I said. But my favorite level has been 193.30 to 193.15. So I would like to see it come back to at least that, maybe even the 195.44. Those are two very key resistance levels that if we break any of those, well, if we break 195.44, then we're looking for 197. If we break 197, then we're looking for 200. That's how it's working. And then for the downside, if you reject off of 195.44, which I don't know if we'll get that high, or if you reject off 193.30, then you're probably going to be looking down towards the 173.50 to 178. So I would take profits at 178 personally. That's where I would start if you're on a short-term trade here. So hopefully this all makes sense. I had to do this very quick. I have to go. But this is definitely quite the rounding top happening here. Is that too obvious? Do we need to make like an inverse cup and handle? Do we still have to come back up eventually and, go for one more push? That's possible as well. That won't be today most likely, but if it is, then that's going to be a great shorting opportunity. So you have to watch the confirmations. You can't just pick a level and say, I'm shorting that. You could, but you might get lucky. That's more risky. So anyway, that's where we're at. I got to talk to you guys later. Good luck with your trades today. Peace.